Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I'm merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And wow, 9 of Cups. This is happiness. This is the pursuit of happiness. This is the following of your bliss. This is the card that says you're going to be living your dream life. Okay? That this is a reality, right? Perfect fulfillment and satisfaction on every plane of our being. The physical, financial, right? On the mental, emotional, and on the spiritual, creative planes. You are finding success, fulfillment, satisfaction, love, joy, abundance, bliss. This is that card, right? This is that card that says we are living our dream life. So let's put that into some context. How are you achieving this? Where is it coming from? What has kind of led up to this experience? But let's see what we have next card. 5 of Pentacles. Now, we realize that in order to have our dream life, it has to be an active process, right? Because that's a 5 and a 9. Those are 2 odd numbers. Those represent functions of the self rather than states of being, right? So it's not something we achieve or we attain or it's not a product or an object that we get. It's a way of life. It's a way of living our life. Now we've got that fiery Knight of Wands at the bottom. We've got the Hermit. I think you're emerging from a hermit period right now in your life, okay? Universe or World card. Very good. You've got your sights set very high. Your aspirations are literally astronomical, right? And now we've got an 8 of Wands. So really the 8 of Wands is, well, it's an 8, right? It's an even number. So it kind of represents a state. Yeah, it's a way, it's a position that we're in, rather than a move we're making, right? And the 8 of Wands really does illustrate that, because there are so many of these lines of force going out from every direction. And that could mean a few different things. We'll get to that. Here is some Liber energy, the adjustment or justice card, a 9 of Wands, right? Kind of a correction on the 8, saying an 8 is that kind of, maybe we're a little anxious, maybe we're a little kind of overwhelmed by choices. Boom, we commit. We make a choice. We make that promise. We have that inner resolve, that willpower, right? And the 6 of Swords. Interesting card to be in the position of what we don't want, right? And of course, the Art or Temperance card. There is an art to life, right? There is an art to living your dream life. And I think you're discovering that. We've got a lot of active cards here, but we also have the balance with some of the nouns, right? Some of the states, some of the forms through which all of this activity is taking place. And we've got the 6 of Swords, which again is a very peculiar card to have in the position of what we don't want, because this represents the order coming out of the chaos. This represents us realizing the divine plan, but why don't we want that card? Well, I think it's, and I know we're starting somewhere different today, the 6 of Swords in the position of what you don't want. Well, why would you not want a plan or a blueprint? Why would you not want the organization out of the order out of the chaos? Why would you not want the navigation? Why would you not want to plot a course? Well, I've got my suspicions. I think that this is more intuitive and spontaneous, which we see with the Knight of Wands. This is a lot of spontaneity, right? And spontaneity can sometimes be mixed up with impulsivity, right? We'll get to that. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we'll just set it down over here. We'll put Tiny Bob Ross right on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and give us a confirmation, right? If at any point during this reading you feel like you know what that card is or you have a hunch, put that down in the comments, all right? Let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise, an interactive thing, right? To practice our intuition. I think it's fun and I think it's good for us. Okay. Let's look around the room. We have some major arcana, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the two that we see over here kind of represent this an ending of this period of kind of not so much isolation, but sequestering ourselves, right? Go in kind of hermit mode a little bit to do this inner work. And maybe that inner work, well, we'd have to look at your last couple of readings, but I think it was involved with really learning what your desires, learning what your will is, learning kind of what your dream life would look like, you know? We don't have the picture of it here. We don't have the 10 of cups or the 10 of pentacles. We have the 9s. We have the 9s of fire and water, right? So we've got the active living of those plans, the pursuit of those dreams, the manifestation of those dreams as an active energy, right? It means we're living it instead of just kind of picturing it, planning for it, figuring it out, doing that introspective work, which is very active, of course, and it's very important. And I think with the hermit going into the universe, we're emerging out into the world again, that we're taking our cloak off and we are revealing ourselves as a star, as a spiritual luminous being, and we're getting ourselves back out there, back out into the world. And this is in a very general way, this is the one, this is the many, right? This is someone that's kind of concealed, and this is revealed, right? The universe revealed in all of its naked brilliance, right? And I think that this is that active part of things. Now, we see with the fire energy here in these positions that we don't want that fire to get out of control, right? The fire has to burn, and we have to create, and we have to move forward, and we have to, move the environment, move ourselves, move our bodies and minds and stuff. But we don't want it to be impulsive. We want it to be spontaneous, but not impulsive, right? So on the path of the serpent, we've got the two main cards of balance, of togetherness, of union, right? I think the adjustment or justice card is you really evaluating things in real time through our mind, through our thinking and feeling functions and our intuition. We're evaluating things as they come in real time. As we're experiencing things, we're assessing how we feel about them. What is our relationship with these events, point events, people, places, whatever? And how should we respond? Is this something that it's good for me to engage with? I was going to say if it's best for me. If this is something good for me to interact with. Well, I don't want to assume that everything we do is strictly selfish, right? Or that everything we do is going to be what's good for me, right? And we're not talking about that in that kind of material way, right? Where I'm not going to be friends with somebody unless I'm getting something out of it. That's not what we're talking about here. Because especially with this justice card, we realize the value of giving of ourselves, right? We realize that we have to, in some ways, we've got to give a little bit more than we take from people. And if everybody kind of had that idea, I think the relationships would be a lot different in the world. So when I say that we evaluate everything to determine whether this is good for us or not, and I mean on a fundamental spiritual way, is this a relationship that is encouraging me to get to my goals? Is this person challenging me? Is this job supportive of my dreams? Is this situation, is this environment conducive to what I want to achieve in life? Does it provide me opportunities to be of service to people? Right? Does it provide me with stimulating conversation or challenging opinions or Is it, am I just surrounded by people that just want to take and take and take from me? Right? So there is that real-time evaluation and the weighing of, what's really most important to you. And I think there's an ace of cups in one of these scales. And in the other scale is everything else as it comes in real time. We weigh everything against that ace of cups, that heart, that pure love, spiritual bliss, creative energy. And that's how we're moving forward in this real-time way. Now, we've got the blending of fire and water here with the art card. And it's a bit of, it's a bit of water, it's a bit of fire. We've got the two nines, the fundamental forces of your being, pursuing your dreams and being able to withstand difficulties, right? This is the card in the environment. I think that there is there's an increase of this kind of, it's kind of a resolve in you. I feel like you're really kind of becoming like a leader. We're very focused now on integrity, on our ability to speak something into existence and have it be, relatively permanent, In other words, you're keeping your promises. You're focused now on when you say something, you mean it, and you're going to do it. And even if that means, I'm not going to be part of this situation, I'm not going to be part of this relationship or this interaction or whatever, and I mean it. There's no pushing you around right now, right? So we've got the blending of the fire and water. We have to be active, but we also have to be willing to accept what the universe is offering us. Too much of this fire makes us feel as if we can change everything about our environment. We can change people, places, things. We can manipulate energy absolutely. And I don't think we can do that absolutely. I think we have to accept the situation of our life as it is. I've used this analogy the other day where we're born into a particular family, into a particular place and time in the universe. That's what we have to work with. Now, our part of it comes in, our fiery, active part comes in when we then choose what to focus on in that life, choose where to direct our energies. And I think the more mature we get, we think of babies, right? They don't really get a choice in things. They need adults, or they need other people to take care of them. But as we age, as we grow, as we mature, we start having a little bit more agency. And we're able to make choices about what we connect with in our environment and what we don't connect with, what we don't choose to do, or engage with. And I think really it does come down to that kind of choice. And to me, that choice is exactly what karma is. We choose to do something, and even if it fails, even if it backfires, even if it just, it's a disaster. I think even maybe the Buddha said something about this, that it really boils down to the intention. If we set out to do something really good, let's say we're trying to help somebody cross the street, right? But what if we step into a pothole and we all go tumbling down onto the ground, right? We still had this intention, and I hope that doesn't happen. We had the intention of being of service, but sometimes it doesn't work out the way we intend it, right? We had no malice. We weren't going into the crosswalk to throw the people down. But nevertheless, we all ended up on the ground. Well, that's, to me anyway, that's kind of the way things go. 5 of Pentacles. We can't control everything. Right? We can set out with the best of intentions, and I think that's what you're doing now. And you're struggling with that a little bit with the 9 of Wands. Because if I say something, if I say I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it. Well, we can't control everything. Sometimes there are acts of God, we've heard this expression, that prevent us from doing what we intend to do. And I think that's something that we have to yield to and accept sometimes, right? It doesn't mean that we go back to hermit mode. It means we just regroup, regather our forces, and we do it again. We try it. Maybe we learn from the mistake. Maybe we realize that we, shouldn't try to I don't know, drive to the airport in a blizzard, right? Unless we have to. So I think we're having kind of a new relationship with the things that go on around us. We're not just accepting things, we're not tolerating things, we're not just okay with all of the things that are, let's say, not working around us. But we're realizing that there's a push and a pull, there's a give and a take in life. Okay? So even if we're living our dream life, right? I mean, look at that. Look at that 9 of Cups, beautiful energy. We still know that the world is a tumultuous place. The things are always changing. And we can't have this unreasonable expectation that I can control everything. That nothing bad will ever happen to me or around me because I'm going to stay vigilant and I'm going to stay in control of everything. You know, we have a little bit of that, but then there's also this kind of entropy, chaos, randomness around us that is challenging our agency, you know. So we have a little bit of the blending of the kind of the push and pull, the give and take of the universe, and we have to exist kind of right in the middle of that. Right? We've got to push when it's good to push. We've got to yield when it's good to yield. And I say good in a very general way, but also a very specific way. Because what is good to you might not be good for someone else, right? This is your path. This is your unique journey through the universe as a star. And so we look at these major arcana and we see that this is the fundamental experience of all of us, really, is learning how to be our unique star out in the company of all of the billions of other unique stars. Right? So primarily we realize we can't control other people. Everybody has just as much sovereignty and autonomy as we do. Okay, so we're finding a way really to kind of reconcile with that art card, reconcile this idea of agency and wanting to control everything and needing some sort of order. That's why we've got the 6 of Swords in the position of kind of what we don't want. Not that we want chaos, but we realize that we can't plan for everything, right? 6 of Swords. We can't have a blueprint for everything. Not every course can be plotted. We want to plot a course, we want to have this divine blueprint, but then we also have to be very much aware that it ain't going to go according to plan. It never does. I mean, sometimes it goes pretty well, and then you think, that was perfect, right? It doesn't happen every day, though, right? We set out in the morning. It's like at night, you know, before we go to sleep, we write down everything we want to do tomorrow. All of our goals, kind of a step-by-step itinerary. My wife and I do this. We say, okay, tomorrow, you know, our daughter she's got preschool, and then we got to go shopping. But then she has another class. Oh, but then the plumber's coming to the house. I don't know if you heard the other day, we had our water heater was leaking. We had the plumbers here while I was filming. So we schedule these things and we plan it and say, okay, that's our plan for tomorrow. All right, let's go to sleep. Wake up in the morning, pure chaos. The kid's sick. I'm sick. My wife's sick. Something's going on with the cats. You know, we had the cats actually, they got stuck in the insulation in the wall the other day. They managed to find their way into a little hole that we didn't know was there, and we had to go into the wall and pull them out. They're fine. They're totally okay. We had them checked out. They're 100%. But it was a frightening experience. And so my point is that we plan the way we want our life to go. It's not going to go that way. It does not mean that you are not living your dream, right? And I know it's kind of a cliche thing, especially when we get our plans interrupted and then we have that kind of cynical or sarcastic, oh, living the dream, right? But you are. And I think that this is a way that we realize the long-term plan that we're on. Right? I mean, the day-to-day stuff, it's going to change. There's going to be chaos. Plans are going to get changed. Plans are going to get ruined. But we realize that we are on this kind of larger course. There's a bigger picture here, right? And I think it really comes down to the Justice card. So we ask ourselves, well, would I rather be doing anything else right now other than dealing with the leaky water heater, right? And if we're living our dream, if this is our happiest life, if we are on the spiritual path that we've judged and evaluated that this is right where I want to be, then there's no other place I'd rather be right now than dealing with the plumbers and the water heater. You know, even though it's disastrous and it's frustrating and I get angry, you know, I'm human, mostly. There's no other place we'd rather be, right? I mean, we're doing what we need to do. We know that this is in service to a larger will, a larger path for us, okay? I know I'm all over the place today. We've got fire here, we've got water, we've got a little bit of air, and we've got a little bit of earth energy, but the major arcana, I think, are very important. The Nine of Cups, let's talk about that. You're somebody that is really aware of kind of what you want, what you need in life. You know, I think that hermit period, which I feel like was a little bit of kind of sequestering ourselves, doing that inner work, spiritual work, maybe religious practices or just meditations or study or just emotional kind of depth work, whatever that was in that hermit energy. I feel like it really let you know, you really were able to discover what you need and what you want in life, okay? And I think we're realizing that it's not so much in what we're doing. It's not that, oh, I really need to be a guitar player, you know, and do that, and that needs to be my entire life is playing guitar, right? It's not so much what you're doing, but how and why. Why do you want to play guitar all day, every day? Was it because you have this deep spiritual drive, this love for the instrument, the love for the music, the love for sharing that gift with the world? I mean, it's all consuming. It's a whole Nine of Cups kind of thing, right? It could be that. But it doesn't matter so much the playing of the guitar. The guitar itself could change, right? That could be any other instrument. That could be sales. That could be, you know, data entry. I don't know. That could be all sorts of things. Archaeology. It could be, you know, it could be something that is, you know, health or fitness. It could be food. It could be cooking, nutrition. You know, it doesn't matter exactly what we're doing, but it matters that we have that feeling that I want to do it all day, every day. Okay, and I think what a good message of this Five of Pentacles is that our purpose, our dream life, right, living our dream, doesn't have to be even one pointed thing. It's that feeling I get when I play music all day, right? That's what my will is. That's what my goal in life is. Maybe I experience that a little bit, yeah, when I'm playing music, for sure. Maybe I get a little bit of that when I'm cooking, when I'm with my family, when I'm doing chores around the house, when I'm walking outside in the yard, you know, or being part of nature, or, you know, we can feel that feeling in all sorts of ways, maybe not as intensely as when we are doing that kind of direct, you know, artistic, creative thing. But we have this drive in us, so it's way more fundamental than the outward, visible appearance of it. It's not in the guitar, it's not in the food or in the cooking. It's in you. Right? So it literally could be anything. And I think it's those kinds of experiences that we can even, we can recreate. We can have those feelings just in, let's say, a meditation or in prayer or religious spiritual practices. It goes beyond just the outer visible appearance of things. Okay? And I think that you are discovering some of this, especially when we talk about the Nine of Wands, which is right in this future position. Because this could be some anxiety. This could be like, I have all of this drive, all of this creative energy. You know, I want to have this feeling. I want to live the dream. But one, maybe there are not enough hours in the day for you to get everything done and then still play guitar all day, you know. But I think that there's this almost too many choices, you know. It's almost as if, you know, I have one thing in mind that I want to focus on, but I feel like my energy is just being pulled in every direction. I feel like I'm not making any progress, you know. And then I think that's when we start getting some anxiety, because we realize that there's always going to be interruptions. There's always going to be things that we have to do, especially during those periods that we just want to do what we want to do, right? And so we start getting some anxiety because there's always things that pop up in life. There's always a list of chores to do. It's always, we hear the expression, gosh, it's one thing after another, right? Well, yeah, that's how life is. That's how it goes, I think in the hermit period, maybe that was when we withdrew from a lot of the external life. And so maybe it felt as if we had all of this time and energy to focus on that feeling, that living the dream feeling, that spiritual fulfillment, right? That happiness, that blissful state. But it's not a state, right? It's something we have to continuously work on and do and make effort and put in work, right? Putting in work. That's this. So sometimes these two cards together can be the anxiety that we feel because, they say the mail never stops, right? And I don't know, the Seinfeld reference, I think. No matter how many letters you process, there's just more mail. It never ever stops. And that's life, And these two cards together are some anxiety about that constant flow of everything in life. Just one thing after another, okay? But I feel like you're learning how to deal with this and how to realize that this is not, this does not detract from your experience. And it's really, in a way, we're finding that kind of joy and bliss and satisfaction even when our water heater starts leaking and I got to call the plumber and I've got to go meet him at the door and show him where it is and talk about the price of these things. And it's frustrating. I don't want to do that, right? But it's part of this fundamental thing where it's just like, I'm interacting with the world, and this thing's going to get fixed, and it's going to be good that it's fixed. We'll have hot water again, and it's in service of a larger goal for me. This one incident today, and there'll be another one tomorrow, I'm sure, is not ruining this underlying feeling that I'm on a spiritual path. Right? And then we start to think about all the ways that we can feel that spiritual bliss even in the most mundane of tasks. Even in those really little things that we really don't like to do. We're doing the dishes, we're doing laundry, we're cleaning up something, and that can be a moment to reflect on, I'm putting in energy, I'm burning my energy doing these things that maybe I don't want to do right now in the moment, but I know it's part of a larger life. A larger pursuit of this kind of spiritual happiness. Yeah. So we've got the Knight of Wands underneath everything, and this can be that kind of impulsivity, but I think this is also spontaneity because we realize that, I don't necessarily want a day or a life that is completely ordered and scheduled. Now, I used to live a life like that. I used to live a life, Six of Swords, that was very regimented. I'd wake up at, back in those days, wake up at 3 a.m, I'd shower, I'd do my prayers, my spiritual work, my meditation. I would read, I would study, I would make a very simple breakfast, then I would get ready for work, then I would go to work. And even, certain periods throughout the day on breaks and lunch periods, and I would, I'd have another simple meal that I prepared, I would do, another meditation at work, and then I'd be done from work, and then I would travel. I mean, it was all scheduled down to the minute. Okay? You want to know how often my days actually went by the minute according to that plan? 0. Maybe half a day was okay like that. But generally, it never went that way. Other things would come up. I'd get a phone call. Something would happen at home. Or I just wouldn't, I wouldn't be feeling it that day, right? Sometimes that comes from within, where it's just we want to do something else. Sometimes we crave a little bit of spontaneity. Now, we can have this idea of generally how I want my life to go. Yeah, I want to be able to incorporate my spiritual practices every day. So maybe I'll say, yeah, every morning I want to do my meditations, But we realize that, we can adjust and adapt to things, right? But at the same time, remember, we got that Art or Temperance card. We have to look at both sides of this. At the same time, we don't want to say, okay, I'm going to meditate, every morning, 6 a.m., that's my meditation time, and, And then the rest of the day can just be kind of spontaneous or whatever. But then every morning at 6 a.m., we think, oh, shoot, something's come up. I can't do it today. And then the next day, 6 a.m., oh, shoot, something else has come up. I can't do it today. We're losing a little bit of our strength here, right? We're losing, is part of this really part of the Eight of Wands. Sometimes we're looking for something to distract us from that main task, right? And it goes in with this Six of Swords that we don't want organization or structure or a schedule. We want to just fly by the seat of our pants and be inspired and create and do all these different things. We realize we need a little bit of both. Well, I have to be able to say, 6 a.m., I'm going to do my meditations come hell or high water. And no matter what, that's what I do. Now, of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but first I have to make that a rule. Okay? And if I set that intention, but I never have once followed through with it, something else is going on. Maybe I don't really want to do it. Maybe there are other parts of my soul that feel like that's too early, that I need to be sleeping, or that, at that time in the morning, my body's hungry. I just want to eat something. I want to lay in bed. I want to take a hot shower, whatever. We have to figure out why we're not able to have that intention and follow through with it. So it really deals with the Nine of Wands. We have to, again, like I said, you're speaking your word and you're following through with it. And then when things come up, as they inevitably will, we are not getting haywire over it, right? We're not feeling all this anxiety and all this, disaster, and we're not kind of losing our way when something interrupts what we've committed to. If we say, okay, every day, 6 a.m., I'm meditating, and for, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all good, I did it. But then Saturday comes up and I get a call from my brother or something, I've got to go help him with something. I can't meditate at 6 in the morning. Do I freak out? Do I lose it, right? Does that throw me into a tailspin? Do I then completely abandon my meditative practice and now I don't do it for 6 months? No, we realize that, hey, that's the way life is. That's perfectly natural thing. And tomorrow, I'm right back at it, right? So the interruption of that intention is the anomaly, not those days where we actually do it, right? Because if we're only doing it one day out of the week, when we've kind of stated, I'm going to do it 7 days a week, but then we only end up kind of maybe doing it once, we've got to look at something else. Something else is going on there, right? We've got to look at, maybe we have to reevaluate that Nine of Cups. Are we really doing, is this really part of my larger plan? Is this something that I really feel I need to have in my life? This morning meditation, yes, I feel it is, for me personally. So I have to see what else is going on that might be preventing me from actually getting up and doing it. Am I staying up too late? Am I eating something, too close to bedtime or something? Or, what else is going on that might be preventing that? Or is there something deeper that I really don't want to do that? And I think we have to look at it from both sides, and we have to realize that we do need some sort of structure and plan, but we also need that spontaneity. We have to be able to adapt to things as they happen in real time and evaluate things in real time. Is this something that I am choosing to go do instead of my morning meditation? Well, I got to go help my brother. Yeah, I'm choosing to do this. I'll meditate later, or it's still on the schedule for tomorrow, 6 a.m., right? Or is it saying, well, somebody's just calling me up to go have breakfast with them, and it's like, well, we just hung out yesterday. I'm gonna take a rain check and I'm gonna do my meditation. We have to evaluate that. We have to do that in real time. We can't make a rule that just says no matter what, I'm meditating at 6 a.m. No matter what. That's an absolute rule that we are definitely going to. That's a promise that we're really gonna break at some point, right? So we have to stay flexible. We have to be able to adapt. We have to be able to evaluate on the fly and make decisions and strategize in order to continue with this life that we're intending to build, right? And with the universe card up here too, I think that you really have this kind of cosmic perception of things, and you really want to live that kind of connected spiritual life. We have to deal with these mundane things as well. There's going to be interruptions, but in a way that's kind of part of the fun. That's part of the beauty of life, I think, is that spontaneity. Let's look at the mystery card. This is the card that should connect everything. And I want to see maybe I think it's going to be a 10 of Pentacles. And I think that's because we have to look at what our long-term goals are. Maybe it's going to be the Knight of Pentacles. We have to look at our long-term goals and we have to see how they might be changing. Maybe the reason why we're in this kind of struggle, let's say, is because I'm not so clear about what I ultimately want anymore. I don't think that's going on with you because this Hermit, I think, has already done that. So maybe it's not going to be a 10. Maybe what we're going to see is an Ace, right? That we're beginning this process, that even when we have to deal with these interruptions and we feel this kind of overwhelming choices and this indecision or whatever, and it's just a matter of setting an intention and doing it to the best of our ability, keeping our word to the very best of our ability. We don't have to make an absolute rule here, but as much as I'm able, I'm gonna set this intention, and I'm going to follow through with it. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe an Ace. Maybe it'll be an Ace of Swords, maybe another 9 of Wands. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments, okay? Let's see. Well, it is a 10, and it's a 10 of Swords. I think we're trying to avoid this betrayal of ourselves. Okay, and to me, this feels like when we set that intention every single day, 6 a.m., I'm going to meditate. But then for some reason, every morning at 5:59, something comes up. I make some excuse why I can't do it, right? I'm stabbing myself in the back here. I'm betraying my own energy, my own will. So I have to evaluate why that is. Is that really my will? Why? What part of me? On what level of being here? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative. What level of my being is not on board with this? Where's the bug in the program? And I think that we have to evaluate that. So this could also be the idea that we're not living our life by this itinerary. Again, the 6 of Swords is in the position of what we kind of don't want. So maybe this is like I'm, on the other hand, giving up all intentionality at all. I'm not making plans ever again. And I'm just going to be pure spontaneous. Whatever happens, whatever I feel like doing in the moment, I'm going to do. Right? Absolutely kind of no plan, no schedule, no course plotted, no blueprints at all. I'm just going to build the house the way I feel in the moment, I don't think this is the answer either, okay? I think we need the 6 of Swords. As much as it's the difficulty, we need a general plan. We need to have some sort of, at least a skeleton of an outline for our life, right? And then we do our very best to keep that kind of always in the background, but we realize that real life is different than, obviously, this plan that we have, but we don't want to lose that plan. Okay, so it's like you can make that schedule like I did, really every hour of the day was scheduled. We can have that, but then we realize that it's never going to go that way. When something else happens, I'll just go back to the schedule, be like, oh, okay, it's 9 o'clock. Well, now I should be eating breakfast, right? So we just try to kind of get back to our main goals, our main plan, after we deal with the inevitabilities of life, rather than just kind of scrapping the whole thing. Very interesting. Scorpio, thank you, and we'll see you next time.